And welcome back. It's great to have you here, Rush Limbaugh, in the fastest 3 hours in media here at the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. So there's another meeting at the White House. Trump is talking state and local officials today about school safety. And during the break, I heard him. He was talking to Pam Bondi, who is the Florida Attorney General. And Trump was discussing additional stimuli for kids that could not be healthy. He mentioned the possibility of video games and other things, movies on the internet and so forth, as things that could be in the mix in determining why the shooters do what they do. And CNN puts a graphic up to describe this. And you just know that the intention of their graphic had an unstated addition, which was Trump is insane. Trump says video games and violence on the internet, whatever else it was, responsible for gun shootings, responsible for school shootings or whatever. Now, it was factual. It was true. That's what Trump said. But within the context of CNN thinks there's only one culprit here, and that's guns. Well, a second culprit, the NRA. And say anything other than that, whenever anybody says in addition to or instead of guns, we might want to take a look at, like when they mention mental illness. When Trump mentions mental illness, they poo-poo that. So the ongoing intimations from CNN is that Trump continues to be crazy, that Trump is unhinged, that Trump is dangerous. And it is this arrogance and this conceit and this condescension that the media use in reporting on Trump. I don't think they realize how it is not persuasive. It affirms the Trump haters in their audience, but it doesn't persuade. Now, I was listening to some people discuss their opinions of the media. And I've heard a lot of people say the media doesn't really, they're blowing it. The media is losing the respect of the American people. People are fed up with the media. And then I stop and realize, wait a minute. A lot of people say that, and I think they mean it. But if that's true, if the media is blowing it, if the media has finally jumped the shark, if they are reaching a tipping point, then how is it that they can convince 75% of the American people that a tax cut is a tax increase? I don't think the media is in danger of destroying itself, folks, and I wouldn't fall back on that realization or on that belief. Now, it may look, if you look at things in a sterile environment and you know things are true, things are not true, and if you have a good foundation of morality, right and wrong, then you can look at CNN and you can look at drive-by media, and you can clearly assess that they're dishonest, that they are biased, that they are factually incorrect, that they intentionally attempt to destroy people who do not agree with them. Yeah, all that's true. In normal circles, that would destroy the media because people think the media is fair, objective, and simply reporting facts and so forth. But I don't think the media is on the way to destroying itself, and I would not, if you hear anybody say so, I'd be very guarded about it. As I say, in a sane world, they would have destroyed themselves long ago after the Dan Rather incident, just for one example, and the fake National Guard papers about George W. Bush. And I think you can think of countless other examples where their credibility ought to be non-existent. They should be a national joke right now. But despite that, they can report that the Trump tax bill is going to raise your taxes and raise taxes on 80% of the American people. And then the Democrats like Pelosi and Schumer run out and start repeating this. And the media goes and gets its think tank guests and its economics expert guests. And they all say the same thing. that the Trump tax cut is going to cause you to pay more in taxes. And then 75% of the American people believe it. And then there are polls while the bill's being debated that 75% of the American people oppose the passage of the tax cut. How can that be if the media is blowing up? How can that be if the drive-bys are destroying their reputations? There is an outlier possibility. The outlier possibility is that even the polls that they're reporting are BS. Maybe it's true that 75% of the American people did not oppose the tax cut. Maybe they made that up too. But now the polls are starting to show that finally 51% of the American people support the tax cut. You know why? Because they're all seeing that they're getting a tax cut now. But are they at the same time putting it together that the media lied to them? Are they realizing, we've been snookered. We've been lied to. I don't know if they are or not. All I'm telling you is, if a drive-by media can convince 70% of the American people that Mitt Romney stood by and let an employee's wife die, and that Mitt Romney hates animals because he put the dog on the station wagon roof on a family vacation, or that Donald Trump's tax cuts are going to raise taxes for you and cut taxes only for the rich and big business, and people end up believing that stuff, I wouldn't subscribe to the idea that they're imploding. They ought to be. In a sane, just world, outfits like CNN and MSNBC would be scraping the bottom of the barrel. And in terms of ratings, they are. That's another curious and odd thing. When it comes to the ratings, they are at the bottom of the barrel. And yet they remain the most powerful force that we are up against. And it's impossible to shame them. It is impossible to embarrass them. Like Fredo Cuomo the other day. Fredo Cuomo got caught reporting an internet hoax that anybody can walk into a store anywhere and in 5 minutes pick up an AR-15 rifle. You know where else I saw that? At Trump's White House meeting. A student from the high school was hell-bent on getting rid of the AR. He kept referring to it as the AR. And he broke down in tears, talking about how it's senseless, it's stupid, that a military weapon like that can end up in the hands of anybody in America who wants one. And he said, I just saw today, before this meeting, that you can walk into a store and walk out in 5 minutes and have an AR. It's an internet hoax. It's bought and made up. Fredo Cuomo fell for it. When it was pointed out, Fredo said, no big deal, and dropped it. And the student from the high school in Parkland, Florida, there he is repeating it in the White House, and nobody corrected him. I guess the atmosphere just wasn't right. I guess it wouldn't have made sense to tell the grieving student that that wasn't the case, because people on that side of the aisle would react emotionally, and it just wouldn't have worked. So it stood. And anybody watching it yesterday now thinks that you can go in a store anywhere and buy an AR-15 in 5 minutes. Background checks take days, folks, is the point here. To say that you could go get one in 5 minutes is an internet hoax.